You've heard of fire alarm, right? Of course, we all have. But have you ever stopped to think about what's really going on behind the scenes? There's this incredible invisible network at play, and that's what we're diving into today. The hidden nervous system of fire safety, fire alarm modules.
I mean, it sounds so simple, doesn't it? A fire breaks out and alarm blares. But that tiny little moment, that split second between the first sign of trouble and the actual alert, well, that's where all the magic happens. A whole cascade of critical decisions gets made. So what is going on in that gap? Let's follow the signal and find out. Okay, so everything kicks off with that very first signal. This is it. The moment a potential disaster is spotted, a message has to go out, and it has to be instant, and it absolutely has to be reliable. So what even is a fire alarm module? Think of it like a nerve in a body. It's the critical link that grabs a signal from the building's senses, a smoke detector, a heat detector, and it just rushes that message straight to the brain of the whole operation, the main control panel. Honestly, without these modules, a detector would just be a silent witness. It couldn't tell anyone what it saw. All right, so how do we get from that one little signal to a full-blown coordinated response? This is the cool part. This is where the system actually starts to think. It moves from just a simple, hey, there's a problem, to a really complex plan of action.
This whole journey is like a lightning-fast conversation. First off, these modules are always monitoring. I mean, constantly. They're sending out this tiny electrical pulse just to check in, make sure everything's okay. The second a detector gets triggered, bam, the module gets that signal, it processes it instantly, sends its own unique address and status right to the main panel, and then, just as fast, the panel shoots a command back. And that's what leads to control and, ultimately, activation. And this is where you really see the brain at work, the Fire Alarm Control Panel, or FACP for short. It gets that message from the module and immediately looks at its programming. And we're not talking about a simple if smoke, then alarm situation. No. This is a super complex set of cause and effect rules that basically dictates the entire building's response. But here's the really interesting part. It's not just one kind of module doing everything. It's actually a whole team of specialists, and each one has a very, very specific job to do. So let's meet a few of these specialists. First up, you've got the monitor modules. Think of them as the sentries. Their one and only job is to listen for trouble, from things like pull stations. Then you've got the control modules. These are the commanders. They get orders from the panel, and they do things. They activate the horns, the strobes, you name it. And finally, there are the relay modules. These guys are like ambassadors. They safely connect the low-voltage fire alarm system to the big high-voltage stuff, like elevators, telling them, hey, get to the ground floor now. And the team is even bigger than that. You've got isolator modules. These are the real unsung heroes. If a wire shorts out somewhere, they just automatically wall off that one section so the rest of the system can keep on working. Pretty smart, right? Then there are NAC modules. That stands for Notification Appliance Circuit. Their whole job is to control the horns and strobes, the things that actually get our attention. So we've got the signal, we've met the team of specialists. Now, let's put it all together and see how they coordinate this incredibly sophisticated life-saving response. Because here's what you've got to understand. A modern fire alarm system does so much more than just make a loud noise. Seriously, the noise is just the opening act. Just look at this. It's an incredible automated defense system. The second an alarm goes off, the control modules start commanding the building itself. They shut down the HVAC to stop smoke from spreading through the vents. They tell the elevators to go to a safe floor so nobody gets trapped. They can unlock emergency exits for people to get out, while at the same time closing heavy fire doors to keep the fire contained. This is that nervous system in action, and it's literally saving lives before the firefighters even get there. Now, a system this complex and this important, well, you can't just install it and forget about it, right? It needs a regular health check. It has to be ready to go at a moment's notice. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? This isn't just about ticking a box for compliance. It's about making absolutely sure that every single component, every single nerve in that system is healthy and ready to respond 24/7. So how do they do that? Well, there's a pretty strict schedule. You've got simple checks, like on the power supply, that happen every month, but the big one is the annual test. That thing is a full, top-to-bottom, comprehensive exam of the entire system. And during that annual check, the technicians run two really key tests. There's what's called a walk test, That's kind of like checking the nerves, making sure every single detector can successfully talk to the brain. But then there's the integrated systems test, and this one is even more critical. This test makes sure the brain can command the muscles, that when the panel gives an order, the HVAC actually shuts down, and those fire doors actually close. It proves the whole system is working together, just like it's supposed to.
So the next time you walk past a smoke detector or a pulse station on a wall, just take a second to remember that vast, hidden network of modules working behind the scenes, that silent system. It's the building's first and, honestly, its most important line of defense. The only question left to ask is it ready?